What's happening? What's up? I'm Oman. Welcome to the channel. Now, before we get started, let's go ahead and get these pleasantries out of the way. If you like the content, even if you don't necessarily agree with me on this particular topic, let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's like it and go ahead and share it for me, please. All right, so we see the topic of discussion in the thumbnail. What we're going to talk a little bit about today is when women say they don't need a man. And first, I'm gonna go ahead and put that disclaimer out. If you're a woman and you're watching this, if you feel like he's totally off base, this is not what we mean, go ahead and drop something in the comments for me. But, for me, I've been, through relationships I've been on, through, the dates I've been out, just the female friends that I have. Fellas, the same thing when we say that, I'm gonna make it through life regardless. I take that as what they're really saying. What they're saying is, I'm gonna be able to pay my bills. If something comes up as far as an obstacle, I'm gonna be able to figure it out. I'm gonna be able to get just life in general taken care of, whether or not I'm doing it myself. I gotta hire someone to do it, or if I have friends and family that help me out. I think that's as far as it goes. That I figured out a way to make it from point A in life to the end without really needing someone else to carry me. That's not something bad. That's not saying that if you come into her life, that if she was paying someone to wash her car, and I'm just using that as the simplest example, that she won't be appreciative of you washing her car. But what it's saying is she's not willing to sacrifice what she feels she needs in her life in order to have a man. That means that she's not willing to take less than her expectations from a man in order to have you in her life. It may mean that, financially, that's not the area that I'm looking for support in. I'm looking for support in, I have a career that's thriving. I want somebody who's going to support me. I have, emotional times in my life. I want somebody that I can lean on and be able to talk to. And a lot of times, as far as a man, what we end up doing is we want to be the protector and the provider. And really, that's it. I want to be the financial provider. And if you have any real danger in your life, I have you on that. But as far as you asking me questions of where I'm at, why I'm moving the way I'm moving, me trying to understand you, lady, I pay the bills. There's so many women out here that'd be happy with the fact that I pay the bills and you complaining. Some women don't want that from a man. And rather than have someone that they think gives them less than what they need, I'd rather just do this alone. And I think a lot of times what we'll get into as men is saying things along the lines of, well, you can be by yourself, but is that going to give you a family? Is that going to give you children? No. And I think most of them understand that. And I think when you start breaking down really women, most women want to have a child. Most women want to have a family, probably more so than we do. But what she's saying is, I'm not finna have less in my life so that I can have the family and so that I can have, a child. And that is something where we got to get an understanding of. You got to take the time when you hear a woman say that, of, well, you don't need a man, you want one. Exactly what are you looking from for a man? So I can't tell you what that woman needs. And nobody else around here can tell you what one specific woman is looking for, because everybody has their different experiences, their expectations, just different things that shape who they are. But you also got to realize that sometimes when that woman tells you that, what she's saying is, I want a man that has himself together. I want a man that is financially together the same way I'm financially together. They are emotionally together and they are capable of being in a relationship. If you are that man, that statement shouldn't push you off. Now you realize she's looking for somebody that she's compatible with. She's just not trying to put anybody in her life. That's the woman you need to be fearful of. That woman who needs you. That woman who's on IG posting pictures of how pretty she is, hoping somebody will take her for her looks. And she needs the financial security that man's going to bring to her. And yes, she's going to bow down to you. Yes, she's going to be submissive to you at first until she gets what she wants. But does she really need you? Or does she need that money you bring? And eventually, what's going to end up happening And you see this all the time because you see some of the richest men in the world end up divorced because, yeah, you could provide the finances, but can you provide what she needs? And she may have not had discovered what she needed because the greater need in her life was financial security. But once she has that, oh, this dude don't know how to talk to me, I'm out. They always quote this stat: 65 to 85% of women leave the relationship and marriages first because their needs aren't being met. And we as men are so focused on being the provider and being needed in that manner that we're not taking the time to find out how this woman really needs to be taken care of, what she really needs to put a smile on her face, what she wants from a man. But we focus, oh, you got to need a man, and you're going to argue this woman down about the experience she had in her life to make her feel that way. Most of the time, you meet a woman who feels that way, that she don't need a man. Trust me, she done had a bad experience or watched a bad experience from somebody in her life to say, you know what, I'm not taking less than. I'll do this by myself before I get treated this way. There's so many women that's out there, they're looking for, I want to give this rope to somebody else. I want somebody else to lead me. But they're not just gonna give it to anybody. You think that woman that's out there, this every day, this working, this has to, figure out a way to get her car done, has to figure out a way to Uber somewhere, has to figure out a way to make it through life, doesn't want somebody else to help her out, to relieve some of that stress of life? They do. But she's just not going to do it at her detriment. So when you coming into these situations and you listen to everybody else, think of the mindset he's coming from sometimes to realize that's why he's putting this woman down. You putting that woman down because what you want to deliver, you feel like a man shouldn't have to deliver. You never hear men talk about, well, let's learn to care for the women the way they need to be cared for. What you learn is go make that money, pay those bills, and then she should follow. It's a lot more to relationships to that. And that woman who's telling you she doesn't need that man is telling you there's a lot more to a relationship than anything these guys are teaching you. If you're prepared to be what she needs in a relationship, trust me. Again, you got to find the right woman because she may be focused only on her needs and not focused on what your needs are. But if you find somebody who tells you she doesn't need a man, and what she means is for her day-to-day survival, but she needs you in different areas, start focusing on that. Stop trying to have that argument of who she's not and what she is because she's telling you this, and try to understand, well, why are you saying that? Well, what do you need? And then you can get in that same conversation of providing what you need. Just the same way a woman knows that she needs somebody for, emotional support. As a man, you're going to need emotional support as well. And you want that woman who is able mentally to provide that for you. You want that woman who is able to sit there and when you're having a bad day can be the person that you can talk to. So, y'all know I don't like to keep you too long. So just some different ways to think about it. That woman ain't trying to tell you less than or that she can, just populate the earth without a man. What she's saying is my day to day, it'll be okay if I don't have a man in my life. I would want one, but I'm not going to sacrifice me in order just to have a man, a piece of a man, which, man, y'all don't live this world many times just the same way I have. Y'all know where that come from. Don't act like these men are putting women on pedestals and they just, I'm just a bad, angry woman. Don't act like that. Y'all know what's going on. And y'all know where that comes from. So stop arguing it. You might not be that man. But don't act like you don't know why she's more protective of herself now. But I am not keeping you too much longer. Just something to think about. You know how we ended the same way we started. If you like the content, even if you don't necessarily agree with me on this particular topic, let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's like it and go ahead and share it for me, please.